Imagine this. You work tirelessly 5 days a week. You do everything you can to improve the lives of children. You devote your entire life to your job. But what do you get for it? A salary of $18,000 a year and legislators that work to make your life harder every single day. This is the case of a teacher in Oklahoma named Stephen Weedle. He wrote his blog on February 26th of this year about how his job as a teacher is progressively getting harder all the time. Unfortunately, this isn't only happening to him. Teachers across the country are constantly being unappreciated and underpaid, and it's only getting worse. This is an issue that impacts everyone, not just teachers. According to the New York Times article by Makoto Rich published in August of 2015, the number of people in America entering the teaching profession has dropped from 30% from 2010 to 2014. This is according to federal data. These statistics show that people are wanting to become teachers less and less every year. If we do not have anyone wanting to become teachers, then we will eventually have no one to teach our kids and no one to educate the future of America. If this keeps happening and we have no one left to teach the youth, then we will see a huge crisis arise. This is all caused because people are not backing up our teachers. These new laws and budget cuts make it impossible for teachers to do their jobs, but this can all be fixed if we get on the teachers' side and start to back them up. We need to make the lawmakers realize how important our teachers are to society. There's a clear problem that's going on here with how we treat our teachers, and I think it's pretty clear what the cause is. The solution to this problem might take time, but plans will never get put into place if you and I do not do something about it. It all starts with us. Before we can get to the solution, I need you to have a deeper understanding of what the problem actually is. In short, the problem is that we do not appreciate what our teachers do for us. Now, what does that really mean? Well, it means that we have become a society that blames the teachers for students' bad grades. It means we have become a society that gets mad at teachers for disciplining children rather than getting mad at the children for bad behavior. It means that generally, we look at teachers as mean people who are there to get us in trouble and give us work, when in reality, they're the people who nurture us and give us assets that some kids can't even find in their own home lives. In Peter Benson's book, All Kids Are Our Kids, he explains that there are certain assets that kids need in their life for successful development. One of the important ones, he points out, is an adult role model. He and his colleagues did a survey of a couple thousand students and asked if they had the asset of an adult role model in their life. And sadly, only 28% of students said that they have an adult that they look up to. How sad is that? Oftentimes, teachers take over these assets and fill the holes that kids have in their lives to ensure that they are successful. And what do they get for it? A low salary and no respect from anyone. The man I mentioned earlier, Stephen Weedle, he wrote an incredibly powerful blog that captured my attention on this issue. He is a teacher from Oklahoma and is an English professor for high school students. He titled his post, Open Letter to Oklahoma Voters and Lawmakers. In his blog, his first paragraph really captured my attention. He says, I love my job. I love your kids. I call them my kids. I keep blankets in my room for when they are cold. I feed them peanut butter crackers, beef jerky, and Pop-Tarts when Michelle Obama's school breakfast or lunch isn't enough to fill their bellies. I comfort them when they cry, and I praise them when they do well, and always I try to make them believe that they are someone with unlimited potential no matter what they go home to when they leave me. Now that is what being a teacher is all about. Giving kids guidance and confidence beyond even the classroom. Yet he only gets paid $18,000 a year. Later in the post, he goes on to talk about how the lawmakers keep cutting the school budget, which is making his life a lot tougher. They cut out funding for any type of creative activity. They have cut the school security down to one person who monitors 3 schools and 1,300 students all at once. They even had to fire the janitorial staff. Because of this, there's trash everywhere, and teachers can't tell the kids to pick it up because they fear it could cause a lawsuit, since making a kid pick up after themselves has been considered child labor in the past. All of these types of things teachers have to put up with, but still receive little respect or no reward. In the Clearinghouse article from 1960 called Why Teachers Are Underpaid, it says, historically, teachers have been underpaid and people accept this. School will keep anyway. It always has. This might have been true years ago when teachers were appreciated, but now no one wants to become a teacher because of what they hear and how brutal it is. So now we are losing a lot of our nation's educators. So what causes this to happen? I believe this all started because of a lack of care for the educational system. Lawmakers have been adding budget cut after budget cut on their school systems, and it's really taking a toll. If lawmakers cut funding to schools, it gives everyone the idea that education is not important, which is the opposite of true. Education is the foundation of society. We need education so that we are able to remain organized and functional as a country. So why are lawmakers acting like education is just something we can sweep under the rug? Lawmakers have a complete lack of respect for not only school and education, but also for the teachers that work so hard to provide that education for students. And if lawmakers don't respect any of it, then that causes parents and families to view it in the same way. What part of being a teacher part of what makes being a teacher's job so hard is the parents of the children they teach. Nowadays, people think they are so entitled to everything that they have become so sensitive and they think they run the world, and if you get in their way, all hell breaks loose. Teachers have to be careful of how they talk, how they act, what they say, and what they do around kids, because one wrong move and it becomes a lawsuit. If people respect teachers enough to trust that they are professionals who know how to do their job, this problem would hardly exist. Now you're probably thinking, that's great, but what can I really do about it? Well, I have a few ideas in mind. First, we create a minimum wage for the teaching field. It doesn't have to be a lot, but it ensures that no one is making under $18,000 a year. It also makes the field of education look more appealing because you have to get paid a certain amount. That should also help the problem of finding people to become teachers. Second, I move that we create a law protecting teachers. If someone has a problem with the teacher, then the school should fight for the teacher instead of the teacher fighting it by themselves. This gives the teacher a little bit of protection when dealing with the parents. We need to bring this to legislators so that they recognize that there is a push for bettering the lives of our teachers. We will need to start a petition to bring attention to this issue. If we do this, it will be harder for lawmakers to ignore us. As citizens, we can also spread awareness of how these budget cuts hurt our schools so that more people join us in the fight. Just because we ourselves are not legislators does not mean that we cannot do anything to help. We cannot just stand by and let this get worse. Although teachers are being treated this way now, that can't keep happening forever. We need to stop being blind to the legislators cutting school funding, which in turn cuts our teachers' salaries. We need to stop blaming teachers for kids' shortcomings or our bad parenting. We need to stand up and fight for our teachers so that legislators will realize how they are not only hurting educators, they are hurting society as a whole. I urge you to open your eyes and see how society is treating our educators, and I ask you to please join me in supporting the means to stop this disrespect.